Hey everybody, my name is Julie and I'm the Glen gardener. Thank you for joining me today. Before we adopted 3 children, we were actually trying to farm. I had started growing my own vegetables, we were clearing the land, and we got a whole bunch of chickens. Chickens are really easy to start with as a farm animal. They're very easy, and of course the eggs are so nice to have. One year we raised our own meat birds and we butchered them with some friends, and we had them for probably a full year, and it was wonderful. And then I think it was pretty quickly after that we started planning to adopt a sibling group of 3, and life just radically changed. But 3 years into our life as adoptive parents, we are starting it all back up again. But now, I'm not only trying to grow food for us to eat, but I'm trying to teach the children how to grow food too. This high tunnel has been so full of food for the few years that we've had it, and I highly recommend them. Right now this high tunnel is empty, and I will show you why. But I can also say it's fixing to get full again. We had our chickens in here for a little bit, just rejuvenating the soil and fertilizing it, and I need to get in here and clean it out, obviously, but I am going to begin to plant in here again with all my heart. And this is pretty much why the high tunnel is empty right now. I wanted my garden to become closer to the house so that I could really maintain it well. We have already grown and harvested some of what is in here. I've recently replanted stuff for the summer like okra. I've got some kale coming up. I've got some fennel up there that's finishing, probably could eat some at this point. My cantaloupes have done really, really well. Over here on this, I've got my tomatoes. Honestly, they didn't do super good, and it was because of the rain. I've got some more okra in here, I've got some cucumbers, and I've got some beans that are beginning. In all honesty, it's not the garden that I thought I was going to have this year. I have intended for this to be a breakout year in the gardening, but when you have children, and especially the way we did it, where we kind of went from being empty nesters for a long time and then brought 3 children at one time back into our home, everything just takes more time. I'd like to introduce you to our new flock. I think chickens are such a vital part of any farm or homestead. Not only can you eat them for meat, and most of us all eat chicken, but those eggs that come almost every single day are such a gift. And when you raise your own chicken, you know exactly what they're eating. You know exactly what's going into their body. And if you're like us, and you have them free-ranged on grass and you give them organic feed, you know that those birds are really healthy. We are getting like 17 eggs a day. What do you do with 17 eggs a day? Well, you eat a lot of eggs, you preserve a lot of eggs, and you give a lot of eggs away. But I am thinking about getting in the egg business. I think that that's how homesteading is. Something that kind of fell in our laps this year that it was not our idea, was cows. My oldest son bought a home with some property, and they got these cows, and then they had to make a sudden move, and they asked us if we would keep their cows temporarily until they found another place. I did not think I wanted cows. I did not think I was ready for cows. They are not dairy cows, they are not milked or anything like that. They actually, my son calls them pasture pets. So they rescued them, and then they have hung on to them as little pets. But what it has done for Jeff and I is gotten us used to having a cow, taking care of a cow, creating a paddock for a cow, which we've got lots of room for that. We are finding out ways to use these cows now that they're on our property. And it's kind of taken away from that intimidation about having a cow. I mean, once they're here, you realize that they're not that hard to take care of. They graze all day, they take care of themselves. You have to make sure you have to keep them in hay, and you have to make sure they always have water. taking care of these cows for my son has definitely given me an idea and a little bit more of a comfort about having cows. Hey everybody, it's pretty windy, but I wanted to make an update about the children and I on their summer break. In a previous video, I talked about how I was keeping the children home for the summer for the first time in the 4 years that I've had them. The reason that we've done camps in the past was because some of it that's what the children wanted to do, and some of it was because that's kind of where we were. Having that space away, it seemed to work as we were getting to know each other and developing an attachment. When we were all together all the time for a long period of time, it seemed like things would go squirrely. So I feel like we're past that and that we can start to build on the relationship that we have now. I think the very first thing that I learned was about being regulated myself. If mama is dysregulated, if mama is in survival mode, then we're gonna have a terrible time. So I started going to therapy, which I really highly recommend. When you've got unanswered questions about what's going on inside of you and in your mind and why sometimes maybe it's hard to cope, therapy. And I know there's a lot of options out there nowadays. So I started learning to regulate myself, and for a while, that's what I worked on. I took my attention off of everything they were doing, and I looked at myself. I actually put a timer on my phone to go off every 2 hours to ask me if I'm regulated. And if I am a little elevated, then I can go to my room and shut the door or go walk outside and take a little stroll around the yard or something. Or I can just tell the children, hey, I'm a little dysregulated right now, give me some time. And I think that's really made a big difference. Another big difference has been just staying busy. We're in our 3rd week, and I try to do something every single week that is fun for them. We've gone to the zoo. I've taken them shopping to a lot of my favorite places, which of course they love. Out to dinner, out to eat. We've spent a lot of time in the swimming pool. I've kind of had you can get in whenever you want. You can get out whenever you want. Now, my little one got an ear infection in both ears, so she's down right now, and that's really unfortunate, but the pool has just been an open place to go. And I feel like we're growing together. It does not mean that we haven't had any conflicts. You know, they tend to fight a lot with each other, but we're working it out, and we're working through it, and we're coming back to an even keel. So the first 3 weeks of the summer break, I think, have gone really good, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna sign off now, and I hope that you'll join me again next time. God bless.